What's going on, guys? This is Kai. Welcome back. So we are back with another video. On this video, I'm going to feature my pure Dragonmaid deck profile that won first place on double occasion of our Kai-Duelists League. So I went 6-0 on this deck, and I think I have done pretty well considering that Dragonmaid is not that meta relevant anymore and doesn't really see play on competitive side of things. But yeah, I have made a pretty nice list to make the Dragonmaid pretty viable. And I think the logic behind making this pure Dragonmaid draw control version of the deck is, I think that even though you put something like Black Metal, Seyfert, Bestials, and other things to boost the ceiling and tempo of the Dragonmaid will not make so much sense because Dragonmaid is really slow, and I have thought that playing more controlling cards would benefit me more because I want to control the match in the best possible way, and I think it is bound to happen if you can control the match, if you can control and dictate the tempo of the match and slow things down for the Dragonmaid. So yeah, moving on the list, we have 40 cards on the main deck. I wouldn't want to run more because I think the consistency of this deck is not that really good compared to the meta decks. But yeah, we have 3 chamber. So 3 chamber is standard, nothing too extravagant, just the correct amount of chambers on the deck. We have 3 parlor. So before I was running 2, but I do feel like that I would suffer from consistency issues. So I tried to play 3, and I think it's the best ratio for the parlor. And next we have 2 kitchen. Before I was running 1 kitchen and 1 nurse, but I figured that the second copy of kitchen comes up on mid to late game scenarios. And I think the second copy of kitchen is much more better than the nurse one. So yeah, I ran 2 copies of kitchen. Next we have the 2 big dragons. We have the Lorpar and Ernus. So I didn't run the Tinketch over these 2 because I do feel like that these 2 are enough to have just big bodies on your field and have the consistent place of Dragonmaid on the battle phase. So yeah, only 2. You can try to play the second copy of Lorpar over the Ernus, but I feel like that Ernus is kinda clutch on some occasions. So yeah, I run Ernus as well. Next we have Hand Traps. We have Triple Ash Blossom. And next we have 3 Maxi. So for me, the best asset of Dragonmaid is the ability to play around Maxi effectively. You can play around Maxi and mitigate the damages of Maxi to you. You can just tiding pass or make a seals pass, and you wouldn't really get hurt from Maxi. So I think it's the best asset for Dragonmaid right now. But I don't think that it will apply for the TCG. And I think playing this deck on TCG is much more harder than in the OCG because the format is much more faster over there. And yeah, I think Maxi is just here to boost the consistency and draw power of the deck that you badly need. So to improve the ceiling of the deck. Next we have 3 Veiler. So I run Veilers because you want to nullify the Rescue Ace Turbulence and the Snake Eyes Ash and all of those problematic stuff on the meta right now. So yeah, I think Veiler is just phenomenal for me. Next we have 1 changeover, so only 1. You don't need the second copy to be honest. And 1 is perfectly fine. Next we have 1 hospitality. So before I was running 2, but I don't think that the second copy is really good here because I want to draw more hand traps and other cards like trap cards on this list to have better chances to interrupt the opponent. So I think only 1 can be good just to have your follow-up and recursion from the graveyard. Next we have 3 Trap Tantalizing Allure. So yeah, I think that's the name of this card. I forgot. But yeah, it is from the structure deck of Trap Tricks, and I have played this card because I am running so many traps on the main deck, and there's a lot of trap variants on this list. So yeah, I figured that you need to take risks on this deck just to have better chances of drawing into cards that may help you prosper and improve your going first capacity on this list. And I played this card over extravagance on the main deck because I feel like you can fetch cards like Tiding and other trap cards like Dynamiscus on the graveyard to have better chances, and I'm also playing the Black Goat Laps to have a better chance to stop the things like Tenpai and other meta decks right now. Next, we have one Prosperity, just here to boost the ceiling and consistency of the deck. Then, we have three Tidying. The only reason why Dragonmaid is even playable right now was the Tidying. Of course, Tidying is very good here. You bounce cards and you get recursion. So, I think this is the best card for Dragonmaid right now. And yeah, 3 is the perfect number for me before I was playing 2. But I think the games can be very grindy, so you need the third copy. Next, we have Trap Trick. So, 3 copies of Trap Trick just to have more avenues to have more options for trap cards. So, yeah, I played 3. And next, we have Triple, the Black Goat Loves. So, like I've said earlier, I am playing this card, and this card really saved me a lot against the best decks, especially when you know how to choke them out and you have knowledge to stop them from playing the game. This card is very handy for this deck, and it lets you control the match even better. So I highly suggest that you should run this card on the main deck. And yeah, it's the reason why I have won so many games out of our local scene. And next, we have 3 Dynamiscus. So just here to interrupt the opponent. Of course, Banish is very strong mechanic to stop the opponent from playing the game. The only downside is you need to discard cards for this, but it doesn't really matter that much because you have cards that can be able to have effects on the graveyard as well, like Tidying. And yeah, I think Dynamiscus is just fine here. Next, we have triple imperm. So, imperm, like Veiler, it needs to be done on the main deck as well because you need to have better chances when going second because the going second of this deck is really abysmal for me. You don't really have good cards to go second for the Dragon Maid, and I think Imperm is and Veiler are just your tools to have chance when going second. Next, moving on towards my extra deck. So, moving on, we have 3 house. So, house, the best card for me on the Dragon Maid. Let's see, you have interruptions and follow throughs on the battle phase and other phases of the game. So, I think this 3 of house is the correct ratio. Before, I was thinking of playing 2, but I think 3 is the correct call for me. Then we have 2 Shu, Shu. So yeah, I think 2 is fine. I think it is enough to have just a big body on the field and have extra negate and follow up as well on the standby phase. So yeah, I think this can be really nice as well. Next, we have 2 Striker Dragon just to have link materials to climb into the Hieratic Seals Pass. And I run 2 copies of Striker Dragon is because I think seals on the mid game is very good as well. You can make seals on the mid game and improve your board and controlling manner of the game. So yeah, I have thought of playing 2 Striker Dragon. And next, we have 2 seals. So this is the best turn 1 board that you can make. If I'm going to choose between 1 shoe or 1 seal on my board, I would prefer to have seal because I think it's more punishing than 1 Omni Negate, and I feel like that it's more interactive to make. And yeah, I think this card is very strong for the Dragon Maid. Next, we have Access Code Talker just to finish games, and I think you can link climb pretty fast on this deck because you have tools like Dynamiscus to link climb into something link generic cards and make access code to annihilate the board of your opponent. And I think you really lack some firepower to destroy boards on this deck. That's why I opted to run Access Code Talker. Then 1 Nightmare Unicorn, just another link generic card. And we have SP Little Knight. You can play this deck without Little Knight if you're too concerned on the price of Little Knight because we all know how expensive Little Knight is right now, even on the OCG and especially on the TCG, of course. So you can run this card without SP Little Knight, but it can give you really huge upsides when the game is very tight. You make decisions to have SP Little Knight on your board to banish the opponent card, and also better grind game as well for you because this is a very strong card, and there's a reason why SP Little Knight got into 2 in the OCG so that the extravagance decks won't abuse 3 copies of SP Little Knight, but it doesn't matter that much, I think. So yeah. Next, we have Hita, Fire Charmer. This is very controversial for me because I'm not running this card before on my Dragon Maid list, but I think you can benefit from this card because there's a lot of fire targets on the graveyard of the opponent, and even Ash Blossom is very dominant on the main deck of many people, so you can make link climbs faster with this Hita. Next we have Nightmare Phoenix. I cannot run this deck without extra deck without this card because the Philippines metagame is really oriented with control decks and back row type of decks. That's why I run Phoenix to have outs for the problematic floodgates and one Typhoon the Star Slayer. So this card can be also good when you're facing combo decks because this deck doesn't really have tools to break those boards and you just rely on Typhoon to negate the big boss monsters and negations of your opponent. And moving towards my side deck, I am playing 2 Dogwood because I think Dragonmaid as a deck is very grindy. You are going to have 30-35 minutes game 1 and I think Dogwood would be very strong on game 2 and 3 and you just have to gain LP to win on time using this deck because the deck plays really slow. So I think Dogwood on side deck is kinda strong here. Next we have Droll and Lockbird. This is very debatable. You could run Phantasmi over Droll because I feel like that having more Phantasmi over Droll would give me better chances against the best decks available. But running Droll on goes other rogue decks on the format would be strong as well. So I figured that I would prepare on roguish decks over the meta decks on my side deck. So I run Droll. Next we have Tunibiru. So this is your saving grace when losing the die roll and losing bad on going second. So you have Nibiru to stop the opponents like Snake Eyes, Rescue Ace because those two are pretty much relevant even though we are playing on a new format in the April ban list. So I think Nibiru is just a staple card here on our side deck. Next, I am running 3 Extravagance on my side deck as well. This is a very strong card to draw off 2 cards and I think I only opted to run this Extravagance on my side deck just to have better consistency on going first. So yeah, I'm thinking if I'm putting Extravagance on the main deck but I have opted to side it because I don't want to rely too much on these cards and I would rather want to draw actual interruptions and hand traps as well. Next we have Triple Evenly. My soul going second board breaker card here on our side deck. I am not running Cosmic Cyclone and Feather Duster and I think Evenly Match would do the same job for the board breaking capacity of this deck when going second. So I think Evenly is a really strong going second card right now on the format. And you wouldn't go wrong with Evenly because it hurts a lot of decks, even Snake Eyes and other meta decks like Runic. And yeah, I think Labyrinth also would struggle. So I think Evenly Match is very strong on my disposal. And the last card on our side deck would be Anti-Spell Fragrance. Very strong for the Dragonmaid even though it shuts down your Hospitality and Changeover. I think you could control the match better using Anti-Spell because going into Snake Eyes and other decks like Chimera, Runic, all of those decks that relies on spell cards would definitely lose against the anti-spell. So yeah, that sums up our side deck. So that sums up our deck profile for this video. Thank you for watching this video and please like and subscribe this YouTube channel and it really motivates me a lot. So thank you for watching and see you on the next one. Peace.